Children, now we are going to learn about colligative properties. So I'll give a small illustration. Listen carefully. Take pure water. Everybody knows the taste of a pure water. Water, that is water what we are drinking. It is normally tasteless. Now, when we add sugar to the water, pure water, what it becomes? It becomes sweet. Is it not? But when we add salt, what it results? It makes salty. So, if we are adding sugar means it becomes sweet. If we are adding the water becomes salty. So, what it represents from here? The properties of the solution. Solution means water, sugar. Water is the solvent, sugar is the solute. Solvent plus solute combines to form solution. Here also, water, salt is added, becomes salty. Water is the solvent, salt is the solute. Solvent plus solute becomes solution. So the properties of the solution depends on the nature of the solute particles. But for an ideal dilute solution, the properties namely relative lowering of vapor pressure, depression of freezing point, elevation of boiling point, osmotic pressure. These do not depend on chemical nature of the solute, does not depend on the properties, but depends on the number of solute particles. That is called colligative property. Colligative property means the property which depends upon the number of solute, not the properties. So these four properties, relative lowering of vapor pressure, depression of freezing point, elevation of boiling point, osmotic pressure. These four properties are known as colligative properties because they depend upon the number of solute particles. Though the magnitude of these properties are small, they have plenty of practical applications. For example, today we are going to learn about osmotic pressure. Already in lower classes you have learnt about osmotic pressure, osmosis and osmotic pressure. Many biological processes depend on osmosis. That is a spontaneous process. For example, I'll give one example. If you soak a seed, take a water, and if you take a water in a beaker, and if you soak a seed, small seed, if you put a seed into the water, after 1 hour, 2 hour, if you see means the seed becomes bulky. What it represents? The water enters into the seed, so absorbs the water. That is a solvent particles. It's water is moving inside. So the seed becomes swollen. So solvent moves from one side to the other side. That is called osmosis. Children, I think you have understood this one. The example of a seed. Same only, but it is a spontaneous process only. By its spontaneous means, the correct meanings by itself. The spontaneous movement of the water into the seed, it is done by itself only. So, what is meant by osmosis? Osmosis means it is a spontaneous process. Spontaneous means by itself, in which the solvent molecules pass through a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane means having like small pores in this membrane. That is called semi-permeable membrane. It allows the solvent molecule to move from the lower concentration to a higher concentration. lower to higher. That is called osmosis. It is derived from the Greek word osmos, which means to push. But it does not allow the certain molecules to move from the higher concentration to lower concentration. Only from lower concentration to higher concentration, the solvent molecules will flow. For example, a diagram given in a book, I'll show that now. You see, this is one of the diagram given in a book. This is the semi-permeable membrane. This is one type of solvent. This is another type of solution. See the red color, blue color dots. Red color dot, blue color dot. What it represents, I'll explain now. So, that is the semi-permeable membrane separates the chamber into two compartments. Here in the first compartment, water is taken. The second compartment, sodium chloride, that is salt water. Salt water is taken. So, see here the concentration is more. So, the solvent, difference in concentration, here pure water, here salty water. So, what happens? The water molecules move from the first compartment to the second compartment through the semi-permeable membrane. The membrane allows only the water molecules to move from here to here, but not allows the NaCl, salty water. So, when the water flows from here to here, it increases the volume. The volume get increased. Volume increased. Volume increased, but concentration gets decreases. If water moving inside, if more water moving inside, the concentration become less. Concentration, but volume get increased, concentration becomes less. So this decrease in concentration creates a pressure difference between the two compartments. This pressure difference push some of the water molecules back to the solvent side through the semi-permeable membrane until an equilibrium is reached. At the equilibrium, the rate of movement of the solvent molecule on both directions are equal. The pressure difference at this equilibrium is called osmotic pressure. So, what is meant by osmotic pressure means the pressure that must be applied to the solution to stop osmosis through semi-permeable membrane is called as osmotic pressure. So, Van Hoff, a scientist, he found that for dilute solutions, the osmotic pressure is proportional to the molar concentration of the solute and the temperature. So, he proposed the following equation, pi is equal to CRT to calculate osmotic pressure, which is now called as Van Hoff equation. Pi is equal to CRT. C is the concentration of the solution, T is the temperature, R is the gas constant. So, according to Van Hoff equation, pi is equal to CRT. From this, C is equal to N by V. What is C? N by V. N means number of moles of solute dissolved in V liter of the solution. Apply this C here in this equation. So, pi is equal to N by V RT R. Pi V equal to nRT. If the solution is prepared by dissolving Wb gram of non-volatile solute, non-volatile means which cannot easily evaporate, in Wa gram of solvent, then the number of moles is N is equal to Wb by Mb. Wb by Mb. So apply here Applying this equation, so we are getting pi equal to WB by V into RT by MB. Bringing MB outside, MB is equal to WB into RT by V into pi. From this equation, molar mass can be calculated.